It's time to build my kill team, but with a twist. It should be interesting. Let's check it out. Alright, so before we start, I just want to explain what I'm going to do, so you can decide whether you want to watch it or not. It is time to make these guys. Deathwatch kill team. Now, I should point out, I already have a couple. Well, I have 10. They look like that. So there's this guy holding a bolt rifle of some sort, and there's this guy. He's the kind of special melee dude. So I did these. They're okay. They're not great. They're just fine. But I need a few more, and it just so happens that I bought some extra because, I don't know, it seemed like the right thing to do, just to buy a few more. And I want to make these, but I want to make them with a special twist. I don't know if I can pull this off the way I intend, but I want to mix this kit with this kit. The Mark III Space Marines. These are supposed to be older, an older armor type. And so when I got these, I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if I could mix and match some of the bits, like, say, some of the pauldrons, I don't know, some of the weapons, whatever, right? So I could mix them in with my normal troops, or just have like an old squad of like tactical Marines with old armor. Can't pull it off with the current codex. I can only use certain things. So I think that kit is compatible with this kit. So that's the plan. I'm going to take some heads, I'm going to take some torsos, and I'm going to just basically swap them out. Got 10 of these. I've got 10 of these. So I'll have 20 kill team members that are kind of my own. I haven't seen a lot of people do this, so I'm not saying I'm the first. I'm just saying let's give this a shot. I hope it works. I'm kind of excited for it. It's going to be a bit more challenging on the build phase because there's a lot of things to kind of keep in mind, and at the end of the day, there's 20 of these guys. So wish me luck, and let's get started. All right. So for this project, I'm going to start where all good projects should start, or most of your projects will start anyway, is taking stuff out of the box. So we've got the nice instruction manual right here. Got some bases. Oh, we've got a transfer sheet. It's a little different from your normal transfer sheet. Usually with transfer sheets you get like Ultramarines, but since this is like Warhammer 30K, I guess, you get some new kind of decals. Oh, and I guess you still get Ultramarines in there as well. Cool. I won't be using these, but nice to know they're there. There's 3 sprues, and yeah, it looks like it's jam-packed with stuff. Let's take a look. For this sprue, we've got a bunch of Space Marine heads. They've got interesting-looking helmets. They're not quite beaky Marines. They've got like a really a medieval knights-looking type helmet. There's a bunch of bolt rifles, or some kind of bolter variant. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. All right, so you got 12 heads, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 bolters, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 torso bits. The torso bits, I mean, they're pretty standard, but they look different from other Marine offerings, which makes sense. This was 10,000 years before the Marines as we know them. Here are the front-facing armor panels, or the torso. They have a pretty cool look. They're a little bit more blocky than your more modern Marines. And then we have the shoulder pads. These are interesting shoulder pads. Again, they're pretty different from what we're used to, but the similarities are there. Since I use a lot of chapter-specific pauldrons, which, in fact, for this build, I'll be getting a bunch more in those kill team units, the kill team boxes. I won't be using a lot of these. I'll be kind of mixing and matching where I can. Okay, so here is sprue number 2. And this sprue has some pistol holsters. It's got some arms. Some more arms. Now I'm hoping, so for this build to be a success, I need that these arms are interchangeable with the other arms. Because if it's not, I'm gonna have some trouble. Here are the legs. And already I can see there's a bit of a difference, but it may not be a problem yet. So these legs, they're different than the kill team legs. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that the kill team legs they're kind of joined together. So I need to see how that works. But these are kind of split apart. I imagine that they're designed either to fit interchangeably or they're designed to fit one leg specifically attached to another leg. So I'll have to read the instructions on that. If that's the case, I'll just have to create all the legs kind of together and then join them to a torso independently. We'll see how that goes. And here are some more arms. These are apparently for cradling your bolter. And the final sprue is right here. We have some chain swords, which is nice. I don't have very many chain swords in my current bits box. Got me like a power sword. We have some helmetless Space Marine dudes. We have a power claw, I think it's called, or I don't know, power nails. We have some just little utility pouches right there. We've got some special weaponry. This looks like a plasma gun, plasma pistol. I don't know what that is right there. Interesting. So we've got the power plants right here, or the backpacks, whatever you want to call them. There's a thunder hammer. There's... Oh, this looks like maybe like a heavy bolter. Oh yeah, it's in 2 halves, so that should be nice. Some more power plants, power fists, and a banner. So yeah, lots of stuff happening there. Alright, so because this build requires 2 kits, right? I'm going to do an unboxing for this guy as well, the Deathwatch Kill Team. I mean, these aren't new kits. These are, you've probably seen them. You probably have some. But if you're new to Deathwatch, or if you're new to Space Marines, or if you're new to 40K in general, then maybe you're considering buying one of these boxes and kind of would like to see what's inside. Alright, so here are the instructions. They're not the full color ones, but that's okay. You get what you need. You get 5 of these 32mm bases, and you get 2 sprues for your dudes. Now these are packed in pretty tightly compared to the other ones that we saw. So let's take a quick look at what these sprues have in store for us. So the first thing you see here is a bunch of chapter-specific shoulder pads, pauldrons. This is one of the nicest things. This is one of the things that I like about this kit, is that it gives you the ability to customize your units pretty nicely right out of the box. You don't have to go anywhere else and buy some, buy transfer sheets or buy other shoulder pads like made out of resin or what have you from the different makers that are available online. It has these things right then and there. The other nice thing is that you'll notice how many of them there are. So there's 5 Marines in this box. You get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You get 12 chapter-specific pauldrons, which means that you're going to have a bunch left over, right? You use 5 of them in this kit, you get 6 left over to use with other kits. That's fantastic. It's one of my favorite things about this kit. On the flip side, you'll see the same thing happening with the the Deathwatch shoulder pads. Oh, you know what? I just lied to you. There's not 12. There's actually 12, 14, 16, 17. There's 17 chapter-specific pauldrons. I don't know how that works because some of these up here are chapter-specific. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the Deathwatch pauldrons. You only get 6 of them, and actually you only get 5. This one over here, if you see a little closely, is for the black shield, so it's not really interchangeable. So, all right, you're not getting a bunch of extra Deathwatch shoulder pads. You're getting just enough. Okay, I'm not going to complain too much about that. It's fine. I wish there was more. Like maybe you replace some of these with some of these. But whatever, these are readily available. You can go and get the upgrade sprues. You can't say the same for the chapter-specific pauldron, so maybe that's okay. All right, so I've talked that to death. So we've got a couple of arms with weapons attached. Arm with weapon attached, just an arm, a shield. And so here we have the legs. Now we'll notice here that these legs are together. When I opened the other kit, the 30,000, what are these called? The Mark III Space Marines. Here, their legs were separate. So I think what I'm going to have to do is build the legs on that kit and swap them out with this one. And that's fine. So some more weapons. These are some arms with weapons. Here is a heavy weapons platform. That's the Inferno thing or what have you. Shotgun. I really like the shotgun. I wish I had a reason to use them, but I don't really have that. Okay. Got some power plants here. We've got the whatchamacallit. We have the cloak for the black shield if you're going to use a black shield. We've got the rear torso. You see these have a little dagger at the back. We have the front torso. And so what I'm thinking is I'm hoping that I can swap these out, kind of mix and match with the Mark III Space Marines, but we'll see. We have one of these cool Xenophase blades. We have some power swords. We have 2 big old thunder hammers. We have some pouches down here. We have a bunch of Space Marine heads. We have the components for combi weapons, which I love. I wish I had more of these, but I only have what I have. So that's it. That's the kit. And so my next step is to just start building up my array of components and just kind of going from there. I'll have to figure out what pieces have to go with each other, right? Not all pieces are going to be interchangeable. And I'll start with these guys. So I already know I'm going to have to put the legs together in a very specific way. So I'll start there. And if I get the legs together and add them to the other torsos, the torsos for the kill team unit, then that means there's a good chance I can pull this off. Alright, so here's where we are. I'm only doing 10 at a time, so it's 5 from each kit. And so I've got the legs and torsos not permanently attached because I tend to prime these separately. They're attached with a little bit of sticky tack. That way also helps me pose and decide on weapons, loadout, that kind of thing. But I ran into just a bit of an issue. So as you can see, there's a couple of mixes. So here, let me find kind of the standard looking ones. Okay, here's one. And here's 2. Okay. This is what they're supposed to look like. So this is a Mark III armor Space Marine. Got the Mark III armor legs and the Mark III armor torso. This is an example from the Kill Team kit. That's the Kill Team legs and the Kill Team torso. So this is what the standard looks like. And I'm going to make a couple that are standard just because it introduces some variety, right? So this is what they're supposed to look like. When I combine the kits, this is what they look like. So this is a Mark III torso with Kill Team legs, right? It's not hugely different, right? But it's different enough from this guy. It's going to introduce some variety. And it's different enough from this guy. Again, some variety, some visual variety. And so all these guys have a different mix, and they all kind of stand up on their own, just not while I'm on camera. But I wanted to explain, this guy's unassembled because I wanted to explain one of the limitations with this approach. So here I have the back of a Mark III armor, and here I have the front of a Mark III armor. Oh, actually, here, let me do this. This is the this is the back of a Mark III armor. This is the front of a Kill Team Marine. And they do fit, right? So I can glue them down if I wanted to. So what I was hoping to do is to be able to mix and match the front and back parts of this armor. But if I do that, in this combination, I can close it up and it's fine. But you'll notice how there's kind of a visual breakup there. The collars, right, or that neck piece, the gorget maybe, I don't know if that's what it's called, they're different. So you'll see here how it's missing in the front and it kind of rises up in the back. When I combine it, it's clear they're from 2 different kits. They're not really designed to go together. And I could still make this work, right? If I just accept there's that little notch on there, that's fine. It's not too big of a deal. But if I look at the front and back of it, they're just really not designed to go together. Even the belt is different. Now, oddly enough, when I combine these two, so this is the Kill Team back and the Mark III front, I have a different problem. Now they don't fit. The the Kill Team armor has just a little lip right there, and that interferes with the placement. Now I can get around this by shaving off that little lip, and then I should be able to glue these down, and that'll be that. But that's a little bit of work, but that's not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is that the front and back are just too different. Now, I can pull it off, it'll be fine, but they're just clearly meant to be different. And so what I've decided for this combination of kits, I'm just going to stick with matching torsos and just mix and match the complete torso with the leg. I think that's just the way it has to be. It doesn't have to. I mean, obviously, I could take some liberties and accept some weirdness, but I'm not gonna. It's just for me personally, it's a bridge too far. So I'm gonna make sure that the torsos are complete, or they're a single unit, and then mix and match those with the right legs. I can live with that. Yeah, to keep the variety going, I'm not going to mix up every single one of these. I'm going to mix up most of them, but I'm going to keep a couple of standard. They're still going to have some visual differences with the arms and the head and so on and so forth. So they're not going to be standard, but they're not all going to be mixed up in the exact same way, if I can help it. I mean, at the end of the day, there's only so many combinations of these that I can do. So here we are. I think the next step is to, you know what, I think I'll start pulling it down the heads, because that's going to be easier. So I'll start pulling down the heads, attaching them to the various bodies, and we'll go from there. Now, just to kind of keep the variety going, I'm going to attach these, A, temporarily, but B, at random. I'm going to choose a body, choose a head, and so on and so forth. And by choosing, I mean I'm just going to grab whatever's at hand. Now, already here I can see when I have the Mark III armor head on the torso, the kill team torso, there's not enough of a gap here on the Gorget, this neck piece, so they're always going to be looking up unless I add a little bit of milliput and kind of just raise the head a bit. So I might need to do that. I haven't decided just yet, because otherwise they'll all just kind of be looking up, and I mean I can twist the head a bit, but I think I'm going to want some variety, so I'll probably get some milliput and start messing with the elevation of the head, but for now I'll just kind of keep them that way. So you'll notice I don't have that problem with the Mark III armor head and Mark III armor torso, because the torso is designed to accommodate that head. See what happens when I do this. So I'm going to do kill team head, Mark III torso. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. The head looks a little smaller. Yeah, the Mark III armor head is a bit bigger than the standard Kill Team Marine's head, but that's okay. It doesn't look too weird. Yeah, it should be fine. So that's what they look like with their mixed and matched heads, torsos, and legs. Got this guy back here because he won't stand up. He's got like a special thing on his foot. He's got the kill team feet, and so he just won't. He can only be glued, and so I'm not ready for gluing. So that's going to be the way it's going to be. I think the next step after this, let's keep chasing the easy stuff. So let's. I'm going to pull out the power plants and attach those. These guys are beginning to take some shape. So you've seen that I've added the backpacks, the power plants, or whatever you want to call these, to the Marines, and I just kind of picked one body at random and one backpack at random, so there's going to be a nice mix. But one thing I wanted to point out, especially on these, the Mark III armor. It's in 2 pieces, and one of the cool things about it is that it has like a back plate that is, I think there's 2 different styles, so even then you'll have a bit more variety there too. But I wanted to point out, there's just nastiness where the flashing is concerned. You've got to be careful and remove the flashing, because in this case the flashing interferes with the fit, so you're really not going to get away with not removing the stuff. And unfortunately, it's a bad place for it. It's really hard to remove the flashing without damaging other parts of the model that you want to keep. In all fairness, I don't see a better place for the flashing. Like, where do you attach this part to the sprue where it's not going to be in a tough spot to remove? So I can see the dilemma. And the same thing goes for the power plants or the backpacks for the Kill Team kit. Those have a similar problem, although they're just a single kit. So, I mean, they're a single part. So it's not as pronounced. You don't have to attach anything. But those are still attached to the sprue and just kind of not a great place. So they're attached with this little round thing, so you have to kind of buff, and then they're attached here. And that's hard to clean as well. And then they're attached at the bottom there, so there's always going to be a little thing there. I don't have tools small enough to get in those and do a decent job of cleaning them up. So I've done what I can with the knowledge that it's just not going to be a perfect job. So for now, I'm attaching these to their respective marines with a little bit of sticky tack. And there we go. I think I've done the easy part. I think the hard part now is attaching the arms and the weapons. Let me figure that out. So the build is complete, and it took a little longer than I expected, but also not as long as I expected. It's kind of weird. I kind of overestimated the difficulty that I was going to have getting this together, but it was also, I guess it was some effort. So you'll notice there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So there's 10 guys, and they've each got kind of a mix of weaponry. My thought was I wanted to do as much melee as I can. So I have another kill team. It's a 10-man kill team. It's pretty straightforward. It's kind of a mix of ranged. Actually, no. I did mostly ranged on that, so I equipped all the heavy weapons that I could, etc., etc. So I was running short on melee dudes, and so I decided that these guys would be melee dudes. Except for this guy. Hello! He's got a plasma weapon. And this guy, hello! He's got a melta-gun. So these are not like heavy plasma or heavy melta. They're just melta and plasma. They're special weapons, and the kill team guys, the veteran, the members of the kill team can equip weapons like this. It's one of their war gear options, but none of them were included in the kill team kit, so I didn't include them. But we had some kits on the Mark III armor kit, so I went ahead and included them. I wasn't really looking for ranged guys, but I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to use a ranged special weapon like this. So those are those 2 guys. Let's pull them back a little bit. I've decided I'm going to take a couple of these. You can basically, for every five members of your kill team, you can take one of these. It's the heavy thunder hammer. So it's a pretty strong weapon, but it's got some drawbacks, so I don't have a lot of these. In fact, this is the first heavy that I've got. And I'll probably do one more. So I've got another kill team kit that I want to mess with. But for this group of 10, I think this one is sufficient. The idea, I think, is just to have a variety of tools at your disposal. I'm probably never going to field the 20 or 30 members of the kill team, but I'll have things to pick and choose, and that means I don't have to magnetize all this stuff. I did go with two of these guys. Two of these guys have lightning claws. Now you'll notice the lightning claws are transparent. That's because I still don't have any kits with lightning claws. Well, let me rephrase that. This guy right here, we'll get to him in a second, he's got a lightning claw. There was one more in that kit. Long story short, I had ordered these a while ago from Pop Goes the Monkey. And so I'm going to use half of them for this task right here. So it's two-handed lightning claws. Should get some special attacks or some extra attacks. It's kind of gimmicky, but I don't know. Let's give it a shot. And so I have a couple of these dudes that are just power swords and shields. Oh, let's do that. So nothing too special about them. So here's another thing about this kit, or this combination of kits. The thing where I found some difficulty was in attaching the kind of the shields and the melee weapons. So the kits are heavily biased towards left-handed melee weapons and right-handed ranged weapons. And so I had difficulty, so it was like one of each in each kit. So I had difficulty finding the right weapon for the job. And so these, I had to do some shenanigans in here. So they're just temporarily bonded right now, but I'm going to have to go in there with some milliput and bond it. And it's going to look weird because this is actually a left-handed shield, but he's already got a this is supposed to be a left-handed shield, but he's got a left-handed weapon, and I don't have enough right-handed shield, so I just kind of have to pretend, and so I'm going to have to hide the fact that he's got the wrong hand behind that shield. Same thing with this guy. Although this guy, you'll notice his shield is black right now. It's primed, not because I primed this specific part, but because I had some left over from a previous kill team. So, long story short, power sword, storm shield. Donezo. And these are just kind of a mix. I have one dude with a storm shield and a lightning claw. This is the lightning claw that came in the Mark III armor kit. So he goes back here. We have this guy doing this weird thing with his hand. I'm just going to pretend like he's chopping down with his chainsword. Honestly, I wanted more chainswords, and the Mark III kit has a bunch of chainswords, but they're not designed to be held. They're designed to go like on the back, like instead of that knife there, they'd have a chainsword, and that's just it doesn't really fit any of the models. It's kind of a weird. So I essentially have one chainsword in hand that I can use, and now I've used it. So also got storm shield, and we've got our sergeant here. This one I think looks pretty cool, actually. So he's got a storm shield, and he's got a thunder hammer. Not the heavy thunder hammer, so he can one-hand this one, and he's kind of raising it in battle. So there she is. That's the build. Now the fun starts. No, not really. This was actually pretty fun. A little frustrating when I don't have the right pieces, but still pretty fun. So next up is priming, and we'll go from there. Yay.